So hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to study about the aggregate functions. So basically what is aggregate functions and why we require aggregate functions. So these are the functions which takes the input as multiple rows, or you can say group of rows, and returns the singular value. So basically if you want to count, or you have to sum, or you have to do average. So these are all the aggregate functions we will explore today. So let's get started. For the demonstration of the aggregate functions, I'm going to create one database here. So create database aggregate demo, then use that database. Now I'm going to create one table inside this database. Let's say employees, having columns such as employee ID, name, department, salary, bonus, city, join date. So let us insert some values inside this employees table. And let us start with our today's video, that is about aggregate functions. So basically what are aggregate functions? Very basic definition, taking multiple rows and providing a one result, single value result. This is nothing but an aggregate function. So if I write here, select what aggregate function, that is count star from employees, So if I run this particular query, what I'm going to get is a singular value, that is 10. Now what does this 10 means? So I'm executing here a select command, select star from employees. If I run this query, now you can see how many total records are there in the table, 10 records. So it is just giving me what are the count of the records in the particular table, that is 10. Okay, I hope you understood what is an aggregate function. Now, this particular count function has different variations. If I write like this, select count, let's say one column, salary from employees, If I run this particular query now, I'm getting the answer as 9. So what is the difference between count star comma count column? What is the difference between count star and count column? If I'm writing count star, it is giving me 10. If I'm writing count salary, it is giving me 9. So just explore the table now. So here there are 10 records. That's why count star is giving me 10. But in the salary column here, in the salary column, you can see that there are 10 records, but one of the record is null. So this particular count column, it does not consider the null values. Okay, that's why it is returning 9. So this is the difference between count star and count column. So, okay, I hope you understood this. Similarly, if I write now here, count star, count salary, comma, count bonus. Bonus is another column. So what is, let's say what can be the answer? So here in bonus, we have two null values. So here we will get the answer as 8. If I run this query now, so see, you can get the answer as 8. So this is the difference between count star and count column. Okay. Now, let's say I want to count. My question is, count the employees joined after 2020. So which are the employees? I want to count the total number of employees who are joined after 2020. So how can I execute this query? So let's just count star from employees where, because I want to apply one filter. I want such employees who joined after 2020. So for that I required filter, and for filtering we use where clause. So where joined date joined date is greater than or equal to 2020 January 1st. Correct? So that will be the employees who joined after 2020. Okay. So what I'm going to do is execute this. So total count is 6. So let's see in the table, select star from employees. Now here I can see this particular employee joined at 2020. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total count is 6. Employee joined after 2020. We'll include the year 2020 also here. Okay. So this is how we can use the aggregate function with the where clause also. Then one more thing is, let's say I want to count distinct values. Distinct values. So how I can count? So let's say in this particular table, you can see a city, Mumbai, Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad. So here Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, these cities are repeated. But I don't want them, I want a distinct values. So if I write a query like this, select count city from employees. What I'm going to get the count is how many records it has, 10. Okay, because the city column does not have any null value, so it is giving me 10. But are these 10 the distinct values? No, they are repeated values. So what if I want the distinct values? So here in this particular query, I need to mention here count distinct cities. Distinct city. Then if I run now this, I will get distinct city is 5. So till now what we have covered, so this is a very important question. Count star, count column, and count distinct column. So these are the three things we have learned till now. They are the three variations of the count aggregate function. So this count star will tell us how many records that table has. It will include the null values also. Count column, it will tell us how many values are there inside that column, excluding the null values. This particular count distinct column will use only the distinct values. If the values are repeated, it will count it only once. Okay, let's move on to the next aggregate function, that is sum. Now, from the word itself, you will be understanding what this sum aggregate function will do. It will sum up all the values. So let's write a simple query. Select sum salary. So I want the sum of all the salaries from the table employees. Okay. Now, if I run this particular query, what I'm going to get is here some value, 6,54,000. So if I simply go in the table, select start from employees. So in the salary column, we'll just add these values, 75,000 plus 55 plus 85 plus 92 and so on. Okay, and give us the sum. So here the null salaries whichever are there. So here we have one column with a null salary. It will ignore that column. Okay, it will ignore. It will not add 0. It will ignore that column. Okay. So basically, it null salaries are ignored. Okay. Now let's say I'm going to write select sum bonus from employees. So this particular query, what it will do, it will add all the bonus values, ignoring the null values. It will ignore the null value, and whatever is the sum, it will give us the value. Okay. Now let's say I want to find total compensation. What is total compensation? Total compensation is nothing but total compensation is nothing but sum of salary plus the bonus of that particular, or you can say it is sum of salary plus bonus sum of salary and bonus. Okay. So here we want to add a particular record salary also plus bonus also, and these we have to repeat for all the records and take the sum like this. So how we can write a query for that? So let us select. We have to display the total compensation, that is nothing but sum of salary plus bonus. Okay, from the table employees. Okay, if I run this query now, what I'm going to get is this is the answer, 5,61,500. Okay, now what this particular query will do? This particular query, what it will do? So if I go in the table, select star from employees. Okay, let us add all these things. 75,000 plus 5,000. Okay, plus 55,000 plus 3,000 plus 85,000 plus 7,000 plus 92,000 plus 8,000 plus. For now, I'm ignoring this particular row where there is a null value in bonus. Okay. I'm adding now 52,000 plus 2,500 plus 87,000 plus 6,000 plus. Again, I'm ignoring this particular row and just adding now 79,000 plus 5,000. Okay. Then another row is there, that is 61,000, and ignoring that. What is the sum here? The sum is 5,61,400. What we got the output as? We got the output as 5,61,500. Okay. So we got the same output, 5,61,500, 5,61,500. So if I run this command again, select star from employees. So while adding the sums, I just ignore this particular record, record number 5, record number 8, and record number 10. So if I write like this, sum salary plus bonus. So wherever there is a null value, that particular record, it will get ignored. So it is just writing like this. So for example, I am at record number 5. It will compare like this, 68,000, sorry, 68,000 plus null. And we have discussed what is null. Null is an unknown value. So how I can add that numbers? One known number plus one unknown number. How I can add? So MySQL cannot add that number. That's why this particular record will not get considered. So if you want to get this particular record to be considered, what you have to do is select some salary plus bonus. Here we have to add one function, that is if particular value is null, consider it is 0. So how I can add it like this? So select some salary bonus. Let's say like this. So if null, make that particular bonus value as 0. Okay, if null, make that particular bonus value 0. Now if I run this particular command, what I'm getting the answer? I'm getting the answer now 6,90,500. In this case, what was my answer? In this case, my answer was 5,61,500. Now let us check the answer now. So here I have made if null bonus 0. So means this value will be 0, this value will be 0, this value will be 0, and this value will be 0. Still, here I have one. Here still I have one record where salary is null. Where salary is null. So let's say I'm again calculating one thing. So my first value was 5,61,500. I'm writing here 5,61,500 plus. Now this value I will add because salary plus 0 will give us 68,000. So plus I will add 68,000 in it. And plus for the last record also 61,000 plus 0 will give me 61,000. What is the answer? 6,90,500. So in this case, if I add if null here, bonus comma 0, it will now consider the null value of bonus column as 0, and then it will add 68,000 plus 0, 68,000, 61,000 plus 0, 61,000. But also there is one record where salary is null and bonus is 4,000. Bonus is 4,000. In that particular case, it will consider null plus 4,000, that is unknown value plus known value, and it will also ignore that particular value. If I want that particular value also, here also I need to write if salary is null, if null salary, then also consider it as 0. Then if I run this command now, I will get the answer as 6,94,500. So it will add that 4,000 also. So I hope you understood these three commands. I'm just copied here. So if I write here if null salary, so it will also consider that particular record where salary is 0. And in this case, I will get the answer as 6,94,500. So I hope you understood and I have demonstrated how this particular query is working. What if I add if null here in the bonus section, and what if I add the both section like this? So now we'll move to the next. So let's say I'm writing one query, select sum salary from employees. So this is the command which I have already executed, right? Sum of salary, it will ignore the null values. Let's say I want to use sum with where clause. So I want a condition. I want the salary, total salary of a particular department for particular department. So let's say I'm selecting the table. Now here we have different departments, IT, HR, finance, like this. So let's say I want only that sum of salaries of the department IT. So here I can write where department is equals to IT. So how it will get executed? First, the where statement will get executed. Then it will sort a table with only that records whose department is IT, and then the summation of salary will take place, and then we get displayed. So if I run this particular command, I will get only the sum of the salaries of the records or the employees who are belongs to the department IT. This is how we can use aggregate function with where clause. Let's move on to the next aggregate function, that is a very important aggregate function, average. So what do you mean by average? Sum of all values upon total number of values. This is what traditional definition of average, total number of values. But in MySQL, this is not the case. In MySQL, this is not the case. So in MySQL, what is average? So let's try to understand with the help of an example. So let's say select star from, sorry, not select star, select average salary from employees. Okay. What is the answer? 72666.667 something. What was our answer for select sum salary? Our answer for select sum salary from employees. Answer was 6,54,000. And what is the total number of employees? 10. So if the average is sum of values upon total number of values, my sum of values was 6,54,000. It should be divided by 10. And I should get the answer as 65400, 65,400. But what I'm getting the answer, select average salary from employees. I'm not getting the answer 65,000. I'm getting the answer 72,666.667. Why? Why I'm getting the answer like this? Because in MySQL, average is equal to sum of all values divided by total number of non-null values. So the particular records will be non-null. So we already discussed that there was one null value in the salary column. So now here the answer will be like this. So here the answer is 6,54,000 divided by 9. And that's why I'm getting the answer as 72,666.6667. Whatever. I hope you understood the difference between the average, traditional average definition, and what is average in actually average function, how it works in MySQL. Now, what I'm going to do is I don't want this after decimal, these many digits. So what I can do rounding. So there is a function, a round function. So I can simply do like this, select round function, do rounding of the average value. So average of salary, and I want after decimal up to two decimal places. After decimal, 2 digits from employees. So here I can get the answer as 72,660.67 after a decimal 2 places. Okay, now let us explore one more concept here. What if I want the average salary and the particular null value should be considered as 0, and then it will do the summation and divide it by the total number of values. I'm writing one query now. Let's say select. For that, I'm going to use one function, that is Coalesce. What is Coalesce function? Coalesce is a function. A Coalesce salary, comma 0 is the function from employees. Now what answer I will get? It will consider the particular salary which was null. It will consider it as 0 and do the average. Now if I run this particular query, I will get the answer as 65,400, which was our correct answer for the average, traditional average definition, sum of all values upon total number of values. So what happened here, if I'm using this particular function, that is Coalesce function, this is again not an aggregate function. This is a built-in SQL function. So now if I'm writing like this, Coalesce, let's say I'm going to give value as 1, 2, null, 4. If I run this particular thing, sorry, I need to write a select this particular command. What I'm getting is 1. So what this particular function returns as the value? It returns the value of the first non-null digit or value for first non-null value. So here my first non-null value is 1. That's why it is returning 1. If I write it like this, null 2, null 4. So now it will return with the first non-null value, that is 2. So it will return with the answer 2. Okay. So here what I'm going to write here. So here I'm using the function as Coalesce salary, comma 0. So how this particular function will work? So let's say I'm displaying the table now. Select star from employees. So for the first record, it will be Coalesce 75,000, comma 0. What is the first non-null value? 75,000. So average 75,000. Okay. Then for the second record, it will be 55,000, comma 0. So it will take 55,000 as the first non-null value. Similarly, so on. Now here, my salary value is null. It will become null, comma 0. So the first non-null value is 0. So for that case, it will take the value as 0. That's why in this case, the average now becomes, it will add that particular value. It will add 0 in that and it will not ignore that null value. Okay. I hope you understood how this Coalesce function works. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next aggregate function, that is a mean function. So from the function name itself, you will be able to understand what does mean function will return. It will return the minimum value. So if I'm writing select mean salary from employees. So here I will get the mean salary from all these employees. So what is your mean salary here? 75, 55, 85, 68, 52. So 52 is the mean salary. It will again ignore the null. Again ignore the null column. So if I run this, I'm going to get the 52,000 as the answer. Okay. Now, let's say I want to find the earliest join date. Earliest join date. So here also I can use a mean function like this. Select mean join date. So it will select that particular date that is earliest. That is the minimum. So earliest join date from employees. So if I run this particular query, I will get that particular date, which is earliest. So select mean join date. So if I run this particular query, there is an error, that is join date in the field is unknown column. So basically I have done a typing mistake, join date. So if I run it now, I'm getting the minimum join date, that is 2017 4/12 like this. Okay. Now the next thing, let's say I want to write alphabetically first name. I want to write alphabetically first name. So how I can write this query? Select min name from employees. What it will return now? It will return me a first name, that is a min name. Basically, this particular function will work on dates, it will work on integer, it will work on strings. Okay, this is what I'm going to show you. Now, similarly, we have another function that is max. I'll copy this all things. So the another function is max function. Similarly, here if I want to find the max salary, I can write max, select max salary from employees. I will get a max salary that is 92,000. If I want to find the max join date, that is a late join date. Earliest opposite, that is a late. So late join date. So if I run this query, I will get a late join date that is 2023 214. Okay. If I want the alphabetically last name if I want, I will write here simply max and run this particular query. I will get the alphabetically last name, that is Vikram. Okay. I hope you understood how we use min function and the max function. Okay. So the next thing is about null handling. Now, whatever aggregate functions we discussed today, this particular function that is count star, apart from this function, select count star. So apart from this function, all the functions, aggregate functions, will ignore the null values. Only this particular function that is count star, it will not ignore the values because it is not counting the values, it is counting the records. So if I run this, I will get 10. It will not ignore the, there is a typo mistake. If I run this query, I will get 10. It will not ignore the null values. So all aggregate functions except the count star will ignore the nulls. Now we'll have a quick demonstration of all the aggregate function that we have used. So let's just select first one, count star. Okay. Then comma. So count star, let's say I will display it as total rows, comma, count salary. I want to display salary count, comma, well, let's say sum salary, that is total salary, comma, average salary is average salary, comma, let's say min salary as minimum salary, comma, max salary. Okay. From the table employees. If I execute this particular query, I will get all the aggregate functions. So this particular count star will also consider the null value. Whereas in salary count, it has ignored the null. Similarly, in total salary also, it will ignore the null. It will only sum up the salaries which are non-null. In average salary also, it will ignore the null. It will divide it by 9. That's why the answer is 70,666. In minimum salary, it will also ignore the null. It will not print a null. It will be 52,000. And similarly, in maximum salary also, it will print a value to ignore the null values. Okay. So I hope you understood. Then we have also discussed about the Coalesce function, ifnull function. What is the difference between the ifnull function and Coalesce function? Coalesce function. What is the difference between these two functions? Okay, how I can explain you is this. So let's say select if null sum salary 0 from employees. If I run this particular thing, what I'm going to get is 6,54,000. So what it did, wherever the salary is null, make that particular record as 0. Make that particular record as 0. What is Coalesce function? Select, let's say, average, Coalesce, salary, comma 0 from employees. This particular function's work is to return the first non-null value. This particular function work is to return first non-null value. It will not replace that particular salary which is having a null value with 0, but it will check whether salary comma 0. This is my one list. You can see this is a list. So whichever value is first non-null value, it will return that. So if the particular salary value is null, it will not return null, it will return 0. So this is the difference between if null and Coalesce. Let's move on to aggregate expressions. Aggregate expressions. So let's say you have to write one expression. Let's say select max salary minus mean salary. What I'm going to write? Difference between the max salary and the minimum salary. What is the difference between max salary and minimum salary? As salary range from employees. So this as is nothing but a column alias. So I want the name of that column as salary range. What is the range? Max minus mean. So I'm writing here max salary minus mean salary. So after doing subtraction, the answer is 40,000. So this is my range of the salary. Okay. Now let's say I want to calculate average annual salary. Average annual salary. What do you mean by average annual salary? Average salary multiplied by 12. This is average annual salary as yearly average. So first I need to find the average salary. So select average salary. Now this particular command will ignore the, it will ignore the null value and will consider divide by total 9. So if I don't want that, what I need to write here? Coalesce salary, comma 0. So this has become my average salary into 12. This will become my yearly average. Yearly average from employees table. So this is how we can write expressions. Use the aggregate expressions. So I'm getting an average salary as like this. Yearly average like this. Okay. The next thing that we are going to discuss today is about group concat. This we will discuss in more detail in further videos also. But for the introduction, I'm going to discuss it group concat. What is this group concat function? It is also an aggregate function which is used to combine the values in one string. For example, if I write like this, select group concat, and column name, let's say name from employees. So whatever employee names will be there, it will group or combine the values in one particular string. So what you can see here, I will get all the names of the employees with comma separation. Let's say I don't want this string to be separated by comma. I want a different kind of separator. So for that, I need to run like this group concat name and then one keyword that is separator. And I have to provide which separator you want. Let's say I want like this separator. If I run this, now it will get separated by this particular symbol and not the comma. Okay. I hope you understood how this group concat works. Let's say now what I'm going to write is select group concat name, comma, not comma, order by name. You remember what is order by? It will sort the name by alphabetical order in ascending order. By default, it is ascending, that it will sort from A to Z. So if I write this particular query from employees, I will get all the employees' name in alphabetical order and also comma separated in one string. Like Arav, comma, Ananya, comma, Arjun, comma, Divya, like this. Okay. So I hope you understood what all things we discussed today about the aggregate function. What is count, count star, count column, count string column, sum, average, how average function actually works in MySQL. What is null, if null function and Coalesce function. What is the difference between both the function? We also discuss about the mean aggregate function, max aggregate function, and also tried many examples to demonstrate this. And lastly, we also learned about group concat function. So if you find today's video interesting and helpful, do like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Keep learning.